Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Greek Godcast. We're your hosts. I'm Dan the Man, and with me, as always, is the Greek God himself, Tyler Jones.
Hello. Sorry.
I already love it.
Yeah.
I really should change our intro because I'm always saying, as always, you're here, but we do solo episodes now. So, as always, part-time is the brainchild and co-host Tyler Jones, the Greek God.
It's the format.
It's the format, man. Forrest Gump! We're here to talk about a legendary movie.
We are. It's a little weird. I'm used to looking at the computer.
Yeah.
We actually have a camera.
We have a fancy camera.
Now you can see how fat we are in high def.
Yeah. It's recording in the 1080p. We're not quite to 4K yet. But it's a start. We're getting equipment slowly.
And we even have business cards now.
Yes.
We're almost legit.
Yes, we are so close to legit.
Yeah.
If you see us in person, we will throw like 10 business cards in your face. It'll be like making it rain, but with business cards.
Yeah. We're going to start spamming the F out of you people.
Yes. Spamming the fun out of you.
Yeah. Before we start the review, I got a small little teensy-weensy rant.
Okay.
That more than likely is going to have an F-bomb drop.
Oh, no.
But it's only going to be one.
That's cool.
I think.
It's fine.
But before we get to that, as always, shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Again, I'm used to looking at the computer, not the camera.
Yeah.
Go to patreon.com.
Here's all kinds of crazy mess.
/Greek Godcast. $3 a month. Get you everything. Help us out. We're trying to get this road on the show.
Yeah.
YouTube. Go to YouTube and subscribe. This video, when it's uploaded to tonight, tomorrow?
It'll probably be uploaded tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's going to take a minute to do the edits and the text inserts and all that stuff.
Right. Okay. So, tomorrow, we'll let you know when it's going to be up. At some point in the video.
Tomorrow is in Friday.
Yeah.
May the 8th.
Friday, May the 8th. We'll let you know when it's up. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. After you hit subscribe, take a screenshot that shows you're subscribed.
Yes.
Then watch the video, the Forrest Gump review video. And at some point in the video, Danny will use it at his discretion.
Yes.
Whether it's 8 minutes in, 30 minutes in, 50 minutes in, a password is going to flash up on screen for 5 seconds.
Just 5.
For 5. Once you got the password, go to GreekGodcast@gmail.com. Send us your name, the screenshot of you being subscribed on YouTube, and what the password is.
Yes.
You do all that, we're going to let the video run for a week, so it'll be next Friday, the 15th?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. Next Friday is the 15th. Yes, you're correct.
We will take all the names of people that emailed us and literally draw names out of a hat. And if we pick your name, you win a free t-shirt.
Yes.
So there you go.
Sweet.
Yeah. And one more, and I wrote his name down. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Jack Maroney.
Man,
From
yes.
Progression Over Destination Podcast.
We promised to do a shout out for you, man.
Because he deserves one.
Man, you do. Like, so, before we explain why the shout out, as you know, this, which as I'm looking at it right now, man, I think you're right. I think we do need to lower the banner. Because, like, we can adjust the camera and stuff, but it might take us out of the shot trying to get this in. But, anyway, I digress. This logo.
I kind of feel like I've told you that before.
I think you have. I think we talked about it, but we never followed through. Yeah. Next time, before we record.
Okay.
But, this logo, I drew this.
Yeah.
Like, it was when we were really trying to, like, figure out what to do. Like, we just decided on the name. I think we recorded, like, 2 episodes. And I was like, I want to draw a logo, like, because he was using, like, stock photos of, like, Greek helmets, Spartan helmets and stuff. And
it was stock photos off Google.
Yeah, and so, like, I'm like, we need our own logo.
Yeah.
And so I drew the helmet, and I made the helmet a G, and with the Greek Godcast thing, like, I did that all by hand, and it was fun. I just took a picture of it, and we went with that, and then I uploaded it on my computer, and I kind of went over it to make it all one solid black, because some of the ink was like two-tone as it dried, like, in the middle of coloring it. But again, it was fine. but it was still obvious it was like a hand-drawn thing. And I don't really know digital art very well. Like, if you've been following me on my social media stuff, you know I just got my first pen tablet. And, like, I'm in the infancy of learning digital art, which is something I'm really excited about learning because I want to design t-shirts for the show and all kinds of stuff, you know. And, like, I mean, I can draw traditionally and make stuff cool and all that, but to make it look good, like, on the show, I'm just not there yet. So this guy, enter Jack Maroney. Sorry. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm going to learn your name.
He's from England.
He's from England. And his podcast, Progression Over Destination, is really cool, man. I listened to his latest episode, and it was really good.
Yeah, they go through, like, basically they interview people who own businesses.
Yeah.
And they talk to them through the start of their business to how they run it now to how they keep being successful, all the way to the mental health of being a business owner and all the stresses you deal with. It's actually very fascinating.
It's really cool, man. I really dig it. It's something I'm going to continue to listen to. So this dude also is like an illustrator by trade. Yeah. And he's been like, he told us he's been learning how to do like logos and stuff, and he just wanted to do a logo for somebody without them knowing his words, and like just be like, hey, check this out, I did this. And he did that with us.
Yeah.
Like, we're both in the same podcast groups, and he saw us on there, and he checked us out, and he listened to some of our episodes, and he was like, hey, I noticed your logo's hand drawn. I don't mean to offend you, but I took the liberty of just kind of sprucing it up. Would you be okay with me sending it? And we were like, yeah, dude. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, we're not going to say no. And Jack, you did an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Like, we love the logo and all the variations of it. Like, we've just pretty much gone ahead and just started using it. Like, I mean, you know, he said, you know, if you want to use it, use it. If you don't, you're not going to offend me. I just wanted to do it. And, man, we love it so much we're using it. Yeah. We love it. Like,
we need to get Jack a t-shirt.
Yeah. Honestly, I would like to give him a t-shirt. Like, that would be really cool. You know, that would be really awesome. Dude, you're great. Yeah. You're awesome. Thank you so much for redoing our logo. Yep. We really appreciate it.
Our logo, or your logo, incites a lot of inspiration. He's like the third person to redo one for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's really cool, man. Yeah. Like, and he actually stayed with the idea of the helmet being the G. Yeah. Like, he actually kept, like, this part of right here is still, like, my original drawing, but he just, like, shined it up, and he redid the little Greek Spartan helmet mullet thing. Man, I'm uncultured swine. I don't know what that's called. It's it's the broom thing, man.
Just so people know, the logo, when I was using just the stock image, I Googled Greek god stuff, like Greek god images. Yeah. And this was one that popped up, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. I'll use that. Yeah. So
it fits.
Yeah, it's the format.
Spartans were Greek, and it looks like a Spartan helmet. Yeah. Well, I assumed to be a Spartan helmet anyway.
I figured.
Yeah.
So real quick, before we get into this, and this will be very much a local thing, South Arkansas, but people everywhere know what it's like. Yeah. Yesterday there was news in our town that Murphy Oil, depending on where you're from, is leaving town.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Murphy is one of they're a, what do they call it? A Fortune 500 company.
They're an oil corporation, originally started by the Murphys. I think the guy was Charles Murphy. I think that was his name. And he's from El Dorado. And again, it's pronounced El Dorado. I know it's spelled El Dorado. Yeah. But that's how we say it here. Just, I don't know, just get over it, man. I just go with it. He founded it, and their world headquarters has always been here in El Dorado. Yeah. Their current CEO has been here for several years, and he's originally from Houston, from their Houston office. Yep. And there's the backstory part of it.
To the CEO of the Murphy Oil Corporation, who doesn't like South Arkansas and wanted to move everything, rob people of their jobs here in El Dorado so you can move it to your precious Houston. From everyone in South Arkansas, a hearty go fuck yourself.
I agree with that. You're a douchebag.
you're using this pandemic as an excuse to move to your town, you
Yeah.
can go fuck yourself.
That's exactly what this is, man. Dude saw an opportunity to finally get what
Yeah.
he wanted. It's no secret. Like, no one's like I said it politely. Like, I think somebody shared it, and I saw it, and on that post I was a little polite about it. I was like, yeah, there have been rumors that he didn't want. Look, man, it's not a rumor. Like, people just don't like flat out say it, but the truth is, he's never liked it here.
Yeah.
It's not Houston. It's not this hoity-toity fancy town with all the fancy crap. You know, a lot of the employees that they bring in, you know, for their headquarters feel the same way.
Yeah.
And he saw an opportunity. COVID-19 came, and it was wrecking people's lives, and he saw an opportunity to use it for his own personal gain and just pull out of the brand new building.
A brand new building
that they spent millions of dollars building.
that they finished, what, 2 years ago?
I think it was like a year ago. I mean, I could be wrong, but it might be 2 years. But it was really recent, man.
So they built a multi-million-dollar new building downtown.
Yeah.
There you had, I think it's at 120 people working here at this office.
That's not like, I heard like 80 now.
Oh.
Because of all the layoffs they keep doing.
Yeah. And then, not only that, Murphy Oil was a big part of sponsorship for everything around here.
Yeah.
So, again, CEO, South Arkansas will survive. We're better off without you personally, not the company, you. So, once again, I hope you end up in a ditch. Go fuck yourself.
And I will say this, everyone's like really concerned about the people that have been laid off or about to lose their jobs because of the move. Because not everybody can just afford to just uproot their whole family and move to Houston.
Yeah.
Like, I know how this is going to go. They're going to be like, oh, well, you don't have to lose your job. You can move. Well, no, they can't just up and move. So I will say this. Murphy USA, which was originally part of Murphy Oil until the split, I think like 8 years ago it happened. It's somewhere around that neighborhood. And they became their own company. They inherited the original Murphy Oil building.
Myself up into a frenzy.
Man, I happen to know that place is thriving. They employ hundreds of people. They are constantly expanding positions, and more than likely, the employees of Murphy Oil can easily transition over and be absorbed into Murphy USA, continue to work in a workplace that's very similar to what they're doing now, and most likely, I would say, make comparable wages to what they're making now, if not do better. So don't fret. Pray for the families, but don't fret too hard about it, because I have a good feeling they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because Murphy USA isn't run by a bunch of a-holes. So
yeah.
So that being said, rant over.
Do we know his name?
No, I don't want to say his name. We've already gone enough saying Murphy Oil, Murphy USA.
You can't say his name. He's already put it on the internet.
Well,
post. Do we remember his name?
I really don't remember his name.
About to say, if you know his name, Facebook him. Tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
If you're from here. Just kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. We don't want to get sued.
Let me do it. Just let me say it.
Yeah,
here.
just say it here.
We're technically a worldwide podcast.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to know. Also, they had a business in, was it Toronto or Ontario?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, they had another one in Canada that was shut down and moving it to Houston as well.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, I read that in an article. I think you're right. I think it was Ontario.
So this jack-off is using this fake-ass pandemic as an excuse to kill 2 companies. So he can go back to his beloved H-Town, which is just another word for a shithole. So, there you go. And one more thing, and then we'll get to the review. There were people on Facebook talking about, oh, what do you think? This is what low gas prices does. I bet all you people praying for low gas prices. Blah,
no.
Blah, 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 blah.
This is what scumbags do.
This is what scumbag corporations do, who don't give a shit about the people that work for them and go into business for themselves at the expense of an entire corporation.
Man.
So if you truly think we should be praying for higher gas prices, you too can go fuck yourself.
Man, here's the thing. Don't think corporations care about you. They don't.
No.
Corporations do things like uproot and move to a bigger city because this one isn't good enough.
Because they want to be able to go to their multi-million-dollar golf courses and their 5-star restaurants.
Yeah.
If you don't like it here, find another job.
don't ever forget this one thing that Tyler and I know, this one truth about the workplace. The moment you die, the first thing your job is going to do is put up an application.
Yeah.
That's all you are doing is a spot.
An hour within your death, there will be a spot open online for your job.
You can work your job, you can be a career man, you can be a company man, but don't be so loyal that you fooled yourself into thinking that the boss man actually cares about you. Boss people that actually care about their employees besides the job are few and far. They're a rare thing. I forgot the rest of the saying.
Few and far between?
Yeah, that's it. Few and far. I was going somewhere and then I tripped and I fell on my face. The point is, it's the format, and they don't care. And like sometimes they do, but like there's not that many of them. Maybe like 1 out of 20 bosses are actually decent people.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I mean, it's just a means to an end.
And it's kind of like, I've watched this deal, and again, it might be different now because this was 5 or 6 years ago when I watched it. A lot of the head honchos of Google, they have all these things in place to take care of the workers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but Google's a pretty profitable company.
Yeah, they really are.
Because
I mean,
it's a search engine thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
They're like a multi-billion-dollar organization, and the workplace happiness is through the roof.
Yeah.
Because you don't have dickholes running it.
Yeah. It's such a profitable company. People don't say, I searched the internet. They say, I Googled it.
Yeah.
It's such a profitable company that people actually believe that when they talk to Siri on their iPhones, that Siri is a really good, competent search engine comparable to Google, when really Siri is just a VI that's using Google. That's all Siri does, is it Googles things for you. Don't think Siri does anything special. Or Cortana, or Alexa, or Bixby, or like... It's all Google.
And they make their own phones now.
Yes, which are okay. They got a ways to go. But it's not bad.
I mean, they've only been making phones for what?
Yeah, this is like the 3rd generation phone.
Yeah. So,
yeah. But still, it's a decent phone. It was good enough for me to say, I'll give it a try.
Hey, real quick, speaking of phones. The other day, I went to my dad's house, and I was cleaning out all my crap. I found my old Nokia phone. The ones that are like that big, you know, you played Snake on them.
Yeah, the indestructible Hulk phone.
Dude. I found a charger that fit it.
Does it work?
And it still lit up.
Oh, man. Why is it Nokia the phone giant?
Right. You wonder. If you ever feel useless, just remember, someone's job was to make a protective case for them old Nokia phones.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, I saw a dude weld a metal case that was a hammer that fit a Nokia phone. And so they made a project hammer out of Nokia phone. Like, you saw him like hammer nails and stuff with it. Like, it was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, we ran it on long enough
for like 18 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but I have 16 pages of notes.
I didn't watch it or take notes because at this point, I think I've seen it enough. And FYI to you people, and it may get annoying, but I enjoy doing it. Whether it's good or not, I will be doing my Forrest impersonation through some of this.
Yeah, I encourage him to do that.
So, it's the format.
It's the format.
Keep watching. And found the password, screenshot, email, screenshot, password, name, free t-shirt.
Free t-shirt.
Yeah. If we select your name. So,
part of the reason I have 16 pages of notes is because of the way I took notes. I sat down. I got my wife has a little bitty TV that I got her a while back and put in her kitchen that has a Fire Stick hooked up to it so she can watch shows while she makes amazing cookies.
The Glam Cookie on Facebook, they're awesome.
Yes, they are.
I got me a bag in. Well, actually, I ain't got much left.
Yeah.
So.
I got that TV and set it down on my kitchen table, and I got my my phone out, and I had the remote in one hand and the phone in the other. And every time I see something, I'd immediately pause, and I would do voice to text on a Word document on my phone. I would dictate my notes because that was the easiest, fastest way for me to do notes. And in doing that, we have this miniature book.
And can I just say, through our movie reviews so far, if you've noticed, there's been a lot of pages of notes. Folks, especially me, Danny to a degree, if we don't write every poignant thing down, we'll forget.
Yeah.
That's just because we're getting old.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one movie coming up next week that we did not take notes on.
No, we didn't need to take notes for this movie.
Because it's so terrible.
If you remember the last announcement on schedule, this was supposed to be our bye week before getting into Star Wars prequels, but that was before we found out Samurai Cop was free to watch on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So we're going to put the prequels off for just one more week, and we're going to review greatness.
Yeah. Plus, I got to be honest. After watching 3 Star Wars movies in 3 weeks and doing the notes, I was kind of burned out on it.
Yeah, you don't want to get too burned out, man.
Yeah. Because I tried to start the...
episode 1.
Episode 1, and I couldn't get into it. I was only like 20 minutes in, and I was like, I'm tired. Dang, I'm tired of Star Wars. I got burned out on it, so we're taking a 2-week break. Hopefully I can get the stuff back up for it.
Yeah, I believe in
But I'm going to finish it regardless.
Yeah, because commitment.
Yeah. So, one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
A legendary performance by one of the greatest actors of our time, Tom Hanks.
Yes.
And Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Danny, you got the notes?
I got the notes. I will say, at the end of this movie, I came to the conclusion. I haven't watched this movie in like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I saw it when I was a kid. And it may have actually been longer than 15 years, but I know it's been at least that long since I've seen it.
Because it came out in what?
It came out like 94, I think, or
has it been that long?
It was a 90s movie, man.
I know it was, but oh god,
I can't remember exactly. It was in the 90s though. Like Tom Hanks is super young in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, so in our very first episode, Tyler asked me a question that I stumbled around for a minute because I just couldn't think of an answer. And I only have part of that answer now. And that was, Danny, what are your top 5 movies of all time? Well, first one is Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. And the second one, for sure, is this movie. Like, I knew I liked this movie, but at the end of watching it, I didn't realize how much I loved this masterpiece of a movie.
It's great.
And that being said, going right in.
You asked me before every Star Wars.
Oh, that's
movie,
right. That's right.
And you just said it was on your number 2. Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being trash, 10 being effing amazing. What do you got?
Boy, that's tough.
I have a rating on it for my own personal opinion.
I am going to... Hey, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to give it a 10. Yeah. This movie deserves a 10.
I would say, for me personally, and this is just my own...
It almost got a 9.5 because of Jenny, but...
I would give it a 9. Just because there's some stuff that it's like dragged. Some of the scenes drag.
Yeah, I forgot how long this movie was.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for Tom Hanks, then those scenes that drag, like you talk about, would have been a lot worse than what they are.
I don't know if there's anyone else that could have done this role as well as he did.
Like,
I mean, maybe if you made it about, maybe if you made it about a black guy with the same thing and it had been Denzel.
Denzel is amazing.
Because Denzel could act with a broomstick and it'd be amazing.
Yeah, he could literally co-star with a broomstick and I would watch it.
Yeah.
I also feel the same way about Idris Elba.
Hashtag
007.
Double O Idris.
Double O Idris. I got tongue-tied.
Double O Idris.
Double O Idris.
Make it happen.
Please.
So, we rambled for 25 minutes now.
And we haven't even gotten the first note.
All right.
And Mrs. Dan the Man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so let's go to notes.
Yeah. Okay. So the movie starts, with the opening credits. Like, I mean, it has the same like kind of typical feel good 90s opening that they all had. With the whimsical music and the opening credits and the blah blah blah. But you see this feather floating around and it's doing all sorts of fluffy things and we see Tom Hanks, we see Forrest Gump, and he's sitting on a bench.
Real quick, do you know the metaphor? Is that the right word? Metaphor? Or the meaning, or symbolism is what the guy used for the feather?
No, but before you tell me, I assumed at the end of the movie that it was Jenny.
No. I was watching the biography on the making of Forrest Gump or something. And the guy who directed it said it was a symbolism. Life is like a feather. You can blow any which ways of direction, and you never know where you're going to end up.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's
but
really
wherever
good.
you end up, that's where you were intended.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And that works because like the first thing he does is it lands by him.
Yeah.
And man, I forgot why I wrote this note, but I said Forrest needs new shoes. Was he still wearing the Nikes from the 3 years?
Yeah, because they were dirty and everything.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Forrest, yeah, because I noticed that. I was like, Forrest needs new shoes. But he picks up the feather, it lands by his beat-up old shoes, and he puts it in a suitcase full of what appears to be special memorabilia,
Mm-hmm.
and he puts the feather specifically in a Curious George book.
I was about to say, do you remember the book that was in there?
Yes, Curious George.
Yeah.
And then a bus pulls up in front of Forrest, and as it pulls away, we see a woman sitting down just on the other side of the bench across from Forrest. And she does not say anything to him. She begins reading some magazine when Forrest just begins his first line of dialogue, offering her some chocolate.
Want a chocolate?
Yeah, some chocolate from his box of chocolates. And then we hear the most iconic, entirely overquoted line, as great as it is.
Mama.
Line in movie history, life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. I'm going to leave the impressions to you. Yours is so much better than mine. I'm sorry.
All right.
It started to come out, and I was like, no, let's just pump the brakes. But anyway, okay, so he just starts talking to her. Like, she hasn't said anything. Yeah. You know, she kind of, like, I think waved off the chocolate thing, but, you know, she hasn't said anything. And Forrest just goes on talking, and he compliments her shoes, and then he says...
hold on, can I? Those look like comfortable shoes.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're doing that.
I could walk all day in a pair of shoes like that. Never feel a thing.
And then she's like, my feet hurt. But then telling him that her feet hurt is actually the first thing that she says to him.
Yeah.
And Forrest doesn't even acknowledge the sentence, and he just continues talking about shoes and how you can just tell about everything about a person. You'll buy their shoes, and then he proceeds to have
where they going, where they been.
Yeah. He has his first flashback to when he was a boy and to his first pair of shoes, which were metal braces holding him up. So
trivia. Do you know what he said his mama called them shoes?
Oh, I forgot. I didn't write that down.
She said they was my magic shoes.
Magic shoes.
They could take me anywhere. Sorry. I can't help it.
You know Forrest Gump like I know Star Wars, so that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I can just quote it. I don't know much about it.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, there were braces holding him up. And also doctors smoked in the hospitals back then. The braces weren't for his legs. They were for his back because it was...
crooked as a politician.
Crooked as a politician.
Which is pretty damn crooked.
Yeah. And
that doctor only knew today.
It's pretty standard.
Drunken skank Nancy Pelosi.
As Forrest begins to try out his new shoes in the room, the doctor tells his mother that, I said that already, that the issues with the spine, but he assures her that they will straighten out the spine in no time flat.
Yeah.
And, right before he says that, Forrest face plants.
You know, you mentioned the doctor smoking in there.
Yeah, a lot of people smoke in places that can't be allowed to smoke today.
I remember being younger watching it and asking my mom, like, is that a thing? Like, back then, people's like, oh, yeah, they smoked everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so, soft left.
Soft left?
Soft left.
Soft left.
I remember when I was young, and you could smoke in restaurants. My dad, I specifically remember my dad and my brother getting tired of waiting on our food. And so they both, at the same time, pulled out a cigarette and lit the cigarette, looking at each other. They just did it. And they looked at each other and they're like, yeah, we're doing this because we know as soon as we light it, the food's going to get here. We want the food to get here. That's why we're smoking.
Yeah.
That was just the thing. That was like a superstition my dad had back when you could smoke in restaurants.
Yeah, it was.
Like, as soon as you light up a cigarette, food's going to come. So, the more you smoke, faster food will get there.
When I was younger, I don't know how long ago, but, you know, they had your section, smoking section.
Smoking and non-smoking.
It was weird. Like, now that I think back on it, like, how archaic that is, where you go into this restaurant, trying to have a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, you're choking.
There's another room over there that's just like a...
Yeah. It's like roaches just gathered in one corner, and they eventually just spread.
And they catch on fire.
Yeah, you sitting there trying to eat your burger and catching two-handed smoke and everything.
Yeah.
And
now it's nothing to think, oh, well, they're stepping outside. They must be going to have a cigarette.
I'm trying to think. I guess bars are the only place you can smoke inside anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the better.
Yeah,
I think smokers that complain.
And some bars, I don't think you can smoke in.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a bar. You're there chugging down poison, so why not go ahead and just...
Well, I know, but I mean, like, I think there's some bars here in town. I mean, it's been so long since I've been to a bar, but I think the last time I went to a bar, there was one that you could smoke in, and then there was one you had to step outside to smoke, which is crazy.
All right.
But anyway.
Either way, go to them and support your local business.
We find out that Forrest was actually named after a relative who started the KKK.
Nathan Bedford Forrest. They dressed up like a bunch of ghosts or spooks or something.
They dressed their horses up like ghosts too.
Yeah. He started him what did he say?
I don't remember.
He started him a group called the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
They rode around acting like a bunch of ghosts or spooks or something. I don't know. So as far as my impression, is it at least a 4?
It's a 4.
You think it's a solid 4?
It's a 4.
I give it that.
Yeah. It's good enough that, you know, as you quote lines for my notes, I want you to keep doing it.
Okay.
So, but the intention behind naming Forrest after this person wasn't because his mother supported the Ku Klux Klan. It was to be a reminder for Forrest that sometimes people in life do things that just don't make sense. So,
you know what? As much as as slow as Forrest was, there's a lot of life lessons thrown in this, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, there was. Okay, you see Forrest and his mom walking home, and you see... Oh, no, I skipped a note. This too. This is the same girl who played Frog in Smokey and the Bandit.
Sally Field.
And she's still very beautiful.
Yes.
Especially in the beginning scenes.
I think she's one of the most underrated. Because if you watch her in damn near anything, she is great.
She is. She's awesome. Yeah. She's as talented as she is beautiful. Yeah. Like, she's an amazing actress. That being said, Forrest gets his magic shoes stuck.
Yeah.
And literally 3 dudes are standing there watching as she struggles to get him unstuck. And all they're doing is checking out Forrest's mom. Yeah. That's all they're doing. And as she gets him unstuck and walks away, like, there's still more dudes peeking their head out looking.
Yeah. Haven't you ever seen a boy with braces on his legs before? That was my impression of his mom.
I love it. As you see Forrest's mom walk home, you see him explain that he lives in a very big house on a lot of property, and their source of income was his mother renting out all the extra rooms to pass to the passerbys.
All right, here's one more.
I'm gonna get kind of tripped up on the notes because the voice to tech thing created a lot of typos.
I want to do one more quote, and then I'll have to give it a break for a minute.
Okay.
She decided to rent them rooms out, so I can't help it.
Forrest's mom is trying to get Forrest into a school, and then she finds out that he's just 5 points below the IQ level that's acceptable for public schooling. Needless to say, Forrest's mom, quote, unquote, negotiates.
Can I throw a timeout real quick? I hate to cut you off, but when they first went to his house, they had a guest in the room that he was there with.
I hadn't got there yet.
Oh, is that not this one?
No, you're jumping ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
continue.
Don't worry. We're getting to that. Okay, so Forrest's mom, quote unquote, negotiates to get Forrest in school as by quote unquote negotiates. She did a favor for the principal to get him in school. at least. And as the principal is leaving Forrest's house that night, Forrest shows how smart he actually really is when he trolls the principal by mocking all the pig noises the principal was making just moments before with Forrest's mother. Who does that?
Yo,
I mean, I'm not one to judge what you do in the bedroom, but who does that?
Yo, mama sure does care about your schooling, boy. So
You don't say much of nothing, do you? That was so great.
one of the greatest parts of that movie.
That was so great. Okay, so Forrest begins asking his mom about their father and Forrest's father being on vacation. I guess he was killed in war or something, or he left them or something like that. I don't think it was specifically addressed, was it?
It wasn't specifically addressed. He left them, and when the principal asked, "Is there a Mr. Gump?"
Mr. Gump, yeah.
Mrs. Gump, she said, "He's on vacation." And then
Yeah.
later on, Forrest asked, "Mama,
Yeah.
what's vacation mean?"
Yeah,
Where Daddy went.
yeah,
And then she replies, "Vacation is where you leave and never come back."
yeah. Well, you
I'm
see
trying.
in that scene, you see the same Curious George book that's in the briefcase at the beginning of the movie. That's his book that him and his mother would read together when he was a child.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, we see what it's like to be the homeowner constantly renting out rooms as the house is hustling and bustling with tenants running about, and we see a young Forrest Gump dancing to "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog" with none other than a young Elvis Presley just before he made it, playing in a room that he was renting out for Mrs. Gump.
And here's where I want to throw a time out.
Okay.
There was an actor that voiced the actor in the scene, done the stuff for the guitar and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then another actor came in and voiced over.
Mm.
And this is according to IMDb, so
Yeah.
back off.
Yeah.
Do you know who that actor was?
Yeah.
Kurt Russell.
Really?
According to IMDb.
No way.
Yeah, I found it fascinating too.
That is really cool. I did not know that.
So,
Well, he was renting that room out for Mrs. Gump, and Forrest can't help but dance to this song. And young Mr. Presley thought that was just the coolest thing. He's like, "Hey, show me that dance again."
Yeah.
And you see a jump to a couple years later when Elvis made it big, made his way to fame, and he's doing the exact same dance that he learned from Forrest Gump. And his mother's like, "This ain't for young eyes. Come on." He's swinging his hips.
yeah, that's when parents believed that the devil was in music.
Yeah.
That wasn't gospel or country and western. They believed Satan was in the music.
Some people still do, and that's silly.
Yeah, we call those people stupid.
Or misguided, to say the least.
Yeah.
But, so, now Forrest is going to school, and a bus pulls up to pick Forrest up.
Dorothy Harris.
And he goes up to the bus door, and guess what? It's okay to smoke there, too. Because we see Dorothy Harris
Smoking
just
a heater.
chiefing away on a cigarette.
And a school bus full of little
Kids, yeah.
If you done that now, you would be on CNN yesterday.
Yeah. It's wild, man. So, he's like, Mama said don't ever get on a bus with strangers. And she's like, well, this is a bus to school.
Yep.
And he said, well, I'm Forrest Gump. Well, I'm Dorothy Harris. Well, I guess we ain't strangers now.
Guess we ain't strangers no more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
My
then,
little Forrest impression isn't as good as my big Forrest.
I still like it. So after he introduces himself to Dorothy Harris, he meets the soon-to-be love of his life, Jenna.
Opie was on here though. Can't see here.
Yeah. Oh, when I did the voice to text, I said Jenna, and it spelled it. It spelled it Gennai.
When you post these notes to Patreon exclusive, you gotta highlight that.
I'm gonna give you typos and all.
Yeah.
Because it was voice to text. So this is how Google translated my southern accent.
If you want to see the show notes, exclusively on Patreon, $3 a month.
$3, and you can read this. You can read how Google dictates.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and you see that they get along really well, and they form a really good friendship as children. That's hilarious, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
All right. So, after... Okay, yeah. See right here, it's supposed to say, after a touching moment,
Yeah.
It says after a touching moment of genuine. Anyway, it's supposed to say after a touching moment of Jenny and Forrest sitting in a tree. You see.
She taught me how to dangle.
You see them. You see three little kids who obviously need to get the bus tour up, throwing rocks at Forrest. And then comes another iconic line that has been used many times: the "Run, Forrest, Run" line.
I can tell you this: that will not be the password.
No, it won't. At first, Forrest can't run very well because he's got his magic shoes on. But then, as Forrest said before getting to this part of the story, a miracle does happen, and he begins to run on his own without braces because they fall apart, and he runs for the first time in his life.
Okay. Mom said miracles happen every day. Some people don't believe that, but they do. Sorry.
I love that. All right, and it's at this point in the movie, I remember that I'm only 17 minutes into watching.
Yeah.
And I have decided that if I ever met anyone like Forrest Gump, I'm going to make him my best friend forever. Because Forrest is probably the most charming character ever to hit a movie screen. And I know there's other iconic characters out there that fall under the charming category, but just something about the way Tom Hanks bring this character to life.
Forrest is
the most charming character of all time.
Forrest as a character, if he were a real person. What am I talking about? This is 100% a true story.
Yeah. Forrest is
Look
real.
it up. He is the one that is... You really can't say anything negative about him.
You can't.
I mean, even like...
If you do, you're mean.
I mean, even like... as great... I mean, and it was one based on a true story, but as great as Coach Herman Boone was portrayed by Denzel Washington, he was a little bit of a dick.
Yeah.
You can't say that about Forrest.
Yeah. So...
I really just use that as another opportunity to say how great Denzel was.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean-
Denzel was great. Alright, so you see Forrest run all the way to Jenny's house, which is a big farming plantation with a small house, and you learn that Jenny's mom died when Jenny was 5.
Yep.
And you also learn that Jenny has a sister and a father, and Forrest makes some comments, and while he describes it innocently, not really understanding, like, you quickly pick up on the grim truth that Jenny's father is
A molester.
not a very kind man. In fact, he sounds rather pedophilic. And he's also an abusive alcoholic.
Yeah, Forrest described it as he really loved them. He was always touching
and hugging and kissing.
And again, Forrest, he's a character that's not stupid. He's just slow.
He's very innocent.
Yeah,
and naive.
he's very naive. So he didn't understand the concept of this alcoholic, abusive man was always touching and kissing his daughters.
And I really think it's because he just couldn't see how people could be like that.
Right.
I really think that's what it is.
He sees 100% good of everyone.
Yeah. So you see Jenny and Forrest, they hide in a cornfield from Jenny's father, and Jenny gets on her knees, and Forrest does with her, and they begin praying that God take her away, far, far away from her home.
Yep.
And immediately in the next scene, you see Jenny get out with a policeman escort, taken to her grandmother. Father was arrested and taken to jail. And her grandmother lives in a small trailer, and Forrest was really excited because it was really close to his house, and that meant that they could see each other more often. Jenny would sneak out and get into Forrest's bedroom a lot of the times because she was scared.
Just because she said she was scared. Scared of what? I don't know. I think it was the grandmom's dog.
Yep.
He was a mean dog.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. That was actually the rest of my notes. He helped out there, buddy.
I know this might get annoying for you folks, but again, we want you to watch, but it's just fun for us.
Dude, we've been looking forward to doing this review for like 2 weeks. Like,
Although,
when we decided Forrest Gump, we were like, yes!
Although, I gotta be honest, I'm now looking more forward to Samurai Cop.
Oh my god, yes. Samurai Cop! So, anyway, the same three stupid boys that throwed rocks at Forrest when he was a kid, growing up to become stupid adults who now have a stupid truck, and they, chase Forrest stupidly. And, because of those stupid kids, though,
Yeah.
a college football recruiter could see how stupid fast.
That wasn't a college football recruiter.
Oh, it looked like one.
That was a college football head coach.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you know who that was?
It said it in the cast credits, but I didn't make a note of it.
That was Paul Bear Bryant from Arkansas. I don't want to mention the town he's from because then I'd have to hear it from the Greek goddess. He's from Fordyce. He coached Alabama to several titles. What? Move on. What?
I did not know that at all.
Oh yeah. Paul Bryant. He's known for the hat. And
Well,
I mean, he's won.
I guess miracles do happen.
He's won. He won seven national, 6 or 7 national titles.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
So anyway, he saw how fast Forrest could run.
Can we just say real quick? This was like one of the problems I had with this movie.
What, the football stuff?
No, the truck chasing him.
Oh, because it was outrunning it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably like the one part that was just like, this would never happen.
Right. It was kind of like, this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing in this movie that I'm just really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Unless they were intentionally chasing him, not intending to run him over, but just trying to get him to run for a lap. That is possible.
Possibly, but
Forrest
but
wouldn't.
then again,
they would know Forrest wouldn't know that.
But then again, I mean, like, how close were his heels to clipping that bumper?
That's true.
Once it got that close, you can't judge.
Yeah, you're right.
It's-
Still, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
But anyway, so he gets into college and at Alabama. This whole movie takes place in Alabama.
Greenbow, Alabama.
And then in the big football touchdown scene, you see football slapped in Forrest's chest, and he runs and runs and runs like
They just told him to run.
like he
They
does.
didn't say stop.
He runs throughout the whole movie, and he gets all the way to the end zone. He just keeps on running. He doesn't stop at all. He runs all the way out the stadium, and
And then he said, and then Bear Bryant says, "Sorry, he might be the stupidest son of a bitch alive, but he sure is fast."
yeah,
Which goes to show you, you don't need to be smart to go to college. Just be fast.
just be fast. But this was like the first scene that I genuinely had a belly laugh
Oh,
watching
where he
him just run through the whole
Will
thing.
he run over the tuba player?
Yeah. Like, dude, it was hilarious. Like, I found myself, like, holding my stomach, laughing out loud.
Yeah,
At that scene.
He just straight.
Yeah, just went,
bulldozed him.
get out of the way. They told me to run.
They didn't tell him to stop. They just said run.
Right after the college football game, you see a major moment in history where Forrest Gump was unwittingly a part of, as you see for the first time 2 African American students being admitted into what was previously an all-white university, the same university that Forrest went to. And as the students were being admitted into the building, the woman dropped her notebook, and Forrest ran up behind her to kindly return her notebook that she dropped, and then he proceeded to go in the building.
Man, you dropped your book.
He didn't know where else to go, so he went through the obvious door in front of him.
And the greatest thing, and again, it's as we said in the second Star Wars review, there's beauty and simplicity. It gets a genuine belly laugh from me every time when he just turns around and waves. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
They didn't feel the need to add any words or a joke.
Just
sometimes, as we have said before, less
is more. Yes. And so Governor Wallace was in that scene, and then in the next scene, talk about some more stuff that he was trying to do or something. He wasn't like a very good guy, apparently. Well, he gets shot.
Well, he's a politician, so he probably deserved it.
He gets shot. And the first lady that was sitting with Forrest as he was telling her all the story, she gets on...
bus is here.
Yeah, she gets on her bus, but there's another lady sitting there during this time, and she tells Forrest that she remembers that. She's got a small child sitting with her. Then Forrest tells her about how Jenny went to an all-girl college that he wasn't allowed to go to. And it goes to the next scene, and it shows Forrest sitting in the rain with a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
And Jenny pulls up with, I'm assuming is her boyfriend or man of the night at any rate. And he thinks That's what I have here. When Forrest sees Jenny pull up with her, I'm assuming, boyfriend, or at least man of the evening, he thinks he's hurting Jenny, so Forrest pulls the guy out and starts punching him in the face.
Hell out of him.
And I was like, wait, no, he doesn't pull him out of the car. He dives into the car and starts waylaying the dude.
Yeah.
And
let's see, did he open the door? Did he?
He opened the door and he
Okay.
dove in and he just started hitting the dude.
I couldn't remember if he just like the window was rolled down or something, and he just leaned through the window and beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But he opened the door. You're right.
Yeah. So Jenny breaks up the fight. The dude gets mad. He drives off, and she sees him sitting there soaking
he doesn't
wet.
know any better.
And she invites him inside, and they're talking, and then she sits there in her underwear, and she takes her bra off, and she does. I put it as a kind gesture to Forrest.
Can I do one more impression?
And suddenly, hold on, Forrest, when he touches her boob, he has a suddenly eruptive moment.
He busted a nut.
That's how I wrote it in my notes. I was being funny about it.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to do an impression of what he said?
She said, Forrest, you ever been with a girl before? I sit next to him all the time in home economics.
Well, after he had his little moment.
Dizzy.
Dude, that was some good acting. Like, I genuinely believe that Tom Hanks did that.
He might have.
He could have.
He gets into character.
I don't know if he's a method actor, but
I think he is.
But it's pretty good.
It was.
So, Dizzy. Forrest is so good at running touchdowns that they made sure to put signs on the exit tunnel telling Forrest to stop running.
Yeah.
Forrest is so good at football that he actually gets to meet the president.
He was named to the All-American team.
Yes. And he was not hungry, and he slammed 15 Dr. Peppers.
I must have had about 15 Dr. Peppers.
And then when he gets up to JFK, he tells JFK that he has to pee and then uses JFK's toilet.
Yeah. You know what was crazy about it? If you watched the making of it, during that scene, they, if I'm not mistaken, what they did was they went through JFK interviews or whatever, and each time he said one of them words, they clipped it and put it there. Yeah, and they tried to make it where his mouth would move to the words. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it was messed up, but it was a mid-90s movie trying to make footage out of what was he, 60s? Yeah, 60s.
I think he died in 62 or 63, something like that.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
By the guy who replaced him. By the guy who replaced him, he had a hand in killing him. Oh, that's my theory.
Oh, I don't know.
It was government.
I don't know any theories.
Lee Harvey Oswald was just a pawn in the government's game.
I've been there where he was shot. Yeah.
Was it weird? Like, did it have a weird feeling?
It was only weird because, like, a random dude appeared with a newspaper that was all about that event, and this was, like, early 2000s.
Yeah. So, Lee Harvey, was the Clinton cartel around it? No, I don't think they was.
So, but anyway.
That's another topic.
I was just like, nod to JFK and Marilyn Monroe, and it's really not that slight of a nod.
There was a picture of her on the toilet.
Yeah, with a note. And so then Forrest graduates college, and all of a sudden he's met with a recruiter.
Wait, is that like a proven thing, though, or was that just rumors that he had an affair with?
I think it's rumors. I don't know, man. I always thought it was rumors. I always thought it was like one of those rumors that isn't confirmed, but like, come on,
it's believable.
Yeah. So
if you're from that era and you know for sure, let us know.
Yeah,
because we don't have service to look it up.
Yeah, we don't know. So he gets on a new bus that is not anything like the experience he had with Dorothy Harris. And it's not very heartwarming.
You feel like a gumball?
He opens up the bus. He says, "Well, hi, my name's Forrest Gump. I don't care who you are.
I'm about to give a rat's ass who you are."
Yeah, and but the same cold welcome, of all the people on there. Mm-hmm. But just as he met Jenny, he meets his next best friend, Bubba. I think I talk about it later in my notes, but I love Bubba.
Yeah.
He is
Bubba was good.
He is my second favorite thing about this movie.
What's his name? The actor who played him. Michael T. Wilson?
Something like that. I forget.
Williams or Wilson? Michael T. Williams, I think.
I don't know.
He played Nicolas Cage's best friend in Con Air.
I was thinking about that movie today. That's one I wanna put on the list for a bye week. Is Con Air.
Con Air?
Because mainly because of Nick Cage's glorious hair in that movie.
Why couldn't you put the money back in the box? By the way, I'm sure you guys have seen the news.
Yes!
There is a series, like an actual...
Like a scripted series!
Being made about the life of Joe Exotic.
Because the live show wasn't crazy enough.
Nicolas Cage will be portraying Joe Exotic.
And I'm so happy.
That is going to be a cluster F and a half, and I'm going to watch every second of it.
He is perfect to play Joe Exotic.
There was some earlier, though, I saw somewhere where people want David Spade to do it. I mean, David Spade's funny, but he's... At least Nicolas...
I'm not saying he couldn't do it. I'm just saying I'm more stoked about Nick Cage than I am David Spade. Like, way more stoked. Can you imagine
Nicolas Cage's career being resurrected by playing a gay, mullet-wearing Oklahoma Tiger Man...
Gun-toting Tiger Man.
Who ran for president and had a hit put out on a woman.
Yeah. His hobby was tigers, drugs, and tannerite.
Yeah.
Like,
and F that B, Carol Baskin.
I saw a thing, you know, the whole thing about murder hornets. Like, I saw a meme. Baskin bees. Murder hornets? You mean Baskin bees?
Yeah. Oh, you know that's what he's saying in prison too.
Oh, I'm sure.
That bitch Carol Baskin.
The only thing she ever did was make me famous. Other than that, she was going
by the way,
side.
Guys, real quick before he gets back to his notes, we're not taking breaks tonight.
No, this is all straight recording, and we're an hour into it. But I mean, normally when we're an hour into it, we're like 2 hours into the recording process.
Yeah,
like it took maybe like 20 minutes for me to set everything up, and then we just went right to it, and it's really great.
No breaks.
No breaks.
Hashtag give us a sponsor,
please.
Hashtag please let us retire,
please. So anyway, Bubba loves shrimp.
Yep.
Forrest enlisted, but Bubba was drafted.
Can I say one of my favorite lines from this, though?
Yes.
You ever been on a real shrimp boat? No, but I've been on a real big boat. And here's the thing. And I'm willing to admit this. I never caught it or understood it till I got, 13, 14. Till I was like, oh, he thought he was talking about a little boat. I move slow sometimes.
That's great. Well, because of Forrest and his nature, like his special nature, he fits perfectly in the Army.
He does.
Like, he really does. And the whole time Bubba is still talking about shrimp, because that's all he really cares about. He's just doing his time, and when he gets his discharge, he's going to the shrimping business, and he's telling Forrest about everything. But that drill sergeant loves Forrest, especially at the speed he can disassemble and reassemble his weapon.
Why did you assemble that weapon so quickly?
Because you told me to, drill sergeant.
You're a genius. You must have an IQ of 150.
The little bit of banter we get between Forrest and the drill sergeant,
it's amazing.
It is gold, man.
What is your sole purpose in this army? To do whatever you tell me. I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And that drill sergeant is just like, I hit the lottery. Yeah. Why can't the rest of these idiots follow your lead?
You're a GD genius.
That was so great. So anyway, Bubba goes on to explain every single way to make shrimp. And honestly, at this point in the movie, it's actually making me kind of hungry. But, okay, like I said, it's been somewhere between 10 15 years since the last watched this movie. And that's why I'm the one doing the notes for this review. And yet, I can remember this one shot in the movie perfectly, even though it's been so long since I saw it. And I just came to it, and it's the scene where Bubba and Forrest are on all fours scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush. Yeah. And while I absolutely believe that was a thing that happened in the Army, and for all I know, it probably still happens today, it makes me wonder, does the floor really get any cleaner cleaning every single square inch with a toothbrush?
For you service people out there.
Did you ever have to do that?
Yeah, did you ever have to,
With a toothbrush?
Clean a floor with a toothbrush while you were in boot camp?
And why did you have to do it? And what was it like? And
Like, was it like a punishment, or was it like a... Everybody knows it's what happens. It's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
If you're a member of the service, you rock.
Yeah, thank you for your sacrifice.
Wait till my presidential address. I'm going to hook you guys up.
Mm-hmm. Getting a vote for me.
That's right.
But anyway, and he finally gets through all the shrimp recipes after like 5 minutes of naming them off.
Well, that's about all there is.
Yeah. Late one night in the barracks, Forrest is handed a Playboy magazine by a fellow soldier, and he opens it up to see none other than his southern sweetheart Jenny, and in the photograph she's sporting a college sweater, which he goes on to say that she actually got in a lot of trouble over that and was dismissed from the university.
Yep.
But he explains how this ended up being a good opportunity for Jenny, as she's finally getting to achieve her dream of being a singer and performer on stage. But what he doesn't realize is that strippers are a thing, and that's what Jenny is.
Yeah.
And so he goes to see her show thinking that's going to be a show, as in her
Bobby
singing
Dylan.
a show. But he's in for a surprise. And again, it's been like 10, 15 years since I saw this movie. And the last note that I made, that I just read, I made it before I finished the scene. I thought that Jenny was going to actually come out and strip, like a normal stripper.
Yeah.
But I forgot that she actually was doing a full singing thing. It was just in the nude.
With a guitar covering up her bits.
Yeah, it was in a way that, sitting on a stool, you couldn't see anything. And the audience, was booing her. And the dude got mad, threw his drink on her.
This ain't Captain Kangaroo.
And then Forrest shows up, and he starts throwing haymakers like he always does, because that's what Forrest does. Like, if you mess with Jenny, you gonna get haymakers.
They were trying to grab you.
She gets mad at Forrest, though, for, I don't know, defending her.
Oh, there will be a rant on Jenny at the end of this thing.
I'm not a fan of Jenny. There's some points that I'm actually kind of nice towards Jenny, a little bit. But in the end, I don't like Jenny.
There will be a rant on Jenny before this is over.
So, she storms off, and of course, Forrest is following her, and Jenny keeps saying to Forrest that he can't keep doing this all the time, and what what he's doing is a bad thing. And so far, throughout the movie, every time there's an interaction between Forrest and Jenny, Forrest is nothing but nice and innocent, and is only concerned about Jenny.
And she's a bitch.
And all the most positive, wholesome ways. And for some reason, that's a problem with Jenny. And what I just said could easily be an episode of ranting between me and Tyler on a normal podcast. That's my note right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. So, but anyway, Forrest tells Jenny that he loves her, and Jenny says he doesn't know what love is, which I completely disagree with. And then Jenny begins to contemplate suicide. But instead of committing suicide, Jenny gets off the railing and just hitchhikes with the first random dude that she sees.
Well, bye-bye, Jenny.
Which, to me, is a total scumbag move. And Forrest begins to tell her as she's leaving that he's going to the Vietnam War. And she tells him, whatever you do, don't do anything heroic, just run.
You gotta let me do it. Oh, bye-bye, Jenny. They're sending me to Vietnam. It's a whole other country. So.
That's great. I love this. Well, okay, before she gets in the truck, he tells her that he's going to ride her all the time, and she doesn't say anything, and she rides off to the night with a stranger, and I really dislike Jenny. Mm-hmm. And my next note says, #Forrest deserves better.
Yeah, I got a rant on Jenny, like I said, but I'm going to say that for the end. Okay.
As Bubba begins to let's see, my notes got messed up here because of the voice thing. As Bubba begins to tell Forrest potential prospects of shrimp in Vietnam when they first get there.
I bet they shrimp's all in these waters.
And when we win this war, there's going to be shrimp. I can't remember exactly what it said. It's like shrimp for days or something like that.
All the shrimp you can eat.
Yeah. Well, then they meet another very referenced character and another big major character, and my third favorite person in this movie, Lieutenant Dan, who at this moment still has his legs.
Yeah, played by Gary. Is it Sinise or Sinisi?
Don't get me lying, man.
Y'all know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Again, another
Gary. Yeah. Lieutenant Dan. At this point, he should just change his name to Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, he's got a band called the Lieutenant Dan Band.
First name Lieutenant, last name Dan. Lieutenant Dan.
But he had some pretty good roles in other movies.
Oh, yeah, he does. He's a great actor.
And Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Again.
With Tom Hanks.
Yeah. You put Tom Hanks and that guy together, magic happens.
Magic happens.
And
So,
unfortunately, we can't have Bill Paxton anymore. May he rest in peace.
yeah. But, as Forrest and Bubba are introduced to, I'm having to like translate because of the voice to text thing. Because it says, as for some Bob are, as Forrest and Bubba are introduced to Lieutenant Dan, some good advice Lieutenant Dan has to offer. Forrest goes and explaining. He's giving him advice, and Lieutenant Dan is telling him, this stuff, and Forrest goes on to explain that Lieutenant Dan has had a family member fight and die in every single American war since the founding of this country.
You know what I love?
What's that?
When you say Lieutenant Dan, you do it. I think you do it subconsciously because you don't even catch yourself. You say Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. I just feel like that's how you have to say it. He immediately
socks. Take care of your feet.
Yeah. He did. That's the advice he gives him. Tells about socks. That's actually not in my notes, but it should have been. But But like they tell him he's from Alabama, and then he immediately gets the state they're from wrong, and he says something nice about Little Rock.
Arkansas, huh? Been through there. Little Rock's a fine town. Yeah. And he makes fun of Bubba's lip. He says, "You better tuck that thing in. You get it caught in the tripwire."
Yeah. And so I think didn't he tuck his lip
Yeah.
But
you two twins? No, sir. We're not relations.
We're not relations. Forrest and Bubba are the best. Are their friendship goals?
Yeah.
They're the best.
They are.
So anyway, okay. In fact, I think I talked about. Anyway. No, that's not what this note is. I have to say, even though Forrest is always charming, the scene where they stop in the trail. Oh yeah, this scene. The scene where they stop in the trail and wait as Lieutenant Dan checks things out because he has a funny feeling. It is incredibly tense, and the acting throughout this movie is so insanely superb. I just took a break a moment ago in between notes and viewing. Talked to my wife, who was in the other room, and I was telling her I don't understand why it's been so long since I watched this movie, because it might possibly be my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Mm-hmm. It's such a good film, which it is now my top.
We were always looking for someone named Charlie.
Yeah. And but yeah, that scene was that was probably one of the most tense scenes in the entire movie, and nothing happened. It's
one of those things all right, here's where things are about to pick up. They're in the middle of Vietnam. They're on a road in the wide open.
You know what kind of war it is.
Yeah. So they duck down. Everything is quiet. Even the voiceover, he's whispering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of
and nothing happens, but...
It's kind of like on a radio show. Sometimes they'll be talking about so-and-so did, and they'll pause, and you kind of lean into the radio.
Yeah.
That's what this was.
Yeah, that's what this was.
Well.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so if there's one thing I do truly love about the movie, though, I said this just a second ago, it's Bubba and Forrest. Bubba absolutely compliments Forrest's character in every way. The friendship between Forrest and Bubba is probably the most heartwarming thing that I've seen so far in this movie. And if there was some kind of movie somehow that it was just Bubba and Forrest, I honestly think it would be just as good a movie as what we're watching now.
Yeah.
Honestly, both characters and both actors go together so well, and it really portrays an amazing, genuine brotherly bond that I just love.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote that as Bubba proposes a business proposition to Forrest based on the fact that they are in fact best friends, like brothers, where they would split everything down the middle,
50-50,
living on a boat, shrimping together, splitting all the profits 50-50, and then you immediately see Forrest writing a letter explaining all this to Jenny, because for some reason he's still it didn't write writing, it wrote riding, like riding a horse. So it says, then you immediately see Forrest writing a letter explaining all this to Jenny, because for some reason he's still writing Jenny.
I get persistence in trying to go for what you want, but my God.
Even though I'm pretty sure she hasn't written him back or read any of the letters, I really don't like Jenny. And then it shows Jenny, and oh look, Jenny's a dirty hippie.
Yeah, she's a skank.
The whole Vietnam sequence has some of the best music of all time. Like, I enjoyed every song that they picked for the Vietnam.
This was a good soundtrack.
I mean, it was amazing. In the 4-month monsoon that Forrest and Bubba and Lieutenant Dan, the entire platoon, has been walking through, it's been seemingly peaceful. But suddenly the rain stops, and immediately the moment the last raindrop falls, erupts into a bloody firefight. And I forget which one got shot first, but I think it was the one from Detroit that was in the shot. I could be wrong. But he was shot and killed instantly, whoever it was, as soon as the rain stopped. So it goes from peaceful, wet, and rainy to bloody. And
that was another thing, like, in so many, like, especially movies, war movies you see today, you'll get intense music or, you know, oh, get out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something of the sort. Something that will lead you to believe, all right, something bad's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you know, they're talking about it's raining, the rain stops, they're all kind of smiling, finally no rain, and then no music, no...
Just the rain stops, and they look, and they notice.
No, stop, get down. It was just straight, bow, and it was on.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes a little mystery.
Yeah.
You don't have to give... The audience is not stupid.
Yeah, you don't have to give stuff away.
Unless you're from California. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I'm just kidding. No, I don't. I'm just kidding you, sir.
Anyway. Okay. So, yeah, like, right here. One thing I did really dislike about the movie, though, was, and especially at the beginning, is that everyone kept calling Forrest stupid, and he's not stupid. He's not stupid. Like, I don't even really think he's mentally challenged. He just runs on a different gear than everybody else.
Well, I think that was sort of the point of the character. Everybody calls him stupid, and then he does something to prove that he's not stupid. You know?
And you see that right here, because, like he doesn't stutter or stumble or whatever. Like, he's in the middle of a firefight. He gets right down in position, pulls out his weapon, and begins to retaliate right there next to Lieutenant Dan, and in the trenches, just like every other soldier. He does his duty, man.
Yeah.
Like, he is not an idiot.
No.
He just runs on a different gear. You know.
He's more simple.
So they're overwhelmed from opposing fire. And Lieutenant Dan gives the order to retreat. And typical Forrest Gump fashion, he runs as fast as he can until he realizes he's the only one from his platoon that's getting away. And immediately thinking of his best friend Bubba, he turns back around and runs towards the direction from which he came. And now I remember this part of the movie, and I'm not ready to watch it. First he finds Tex and runs him to safety. Then he runs some more people from his platoon to safety. And then next... It says horse instead of Forrest. Next, Forrest finds Lieutenant Dan, whose legs are all shot up and useless, and he's trying to stay there and die like his family members before him. But Forrest won't let him, and he runs him to safety like everyone else. And as Forrest gets Lieutenant Dan to safety, Lieutenant Dan is trying to get him to stop from going back.
Because there's an airstrike coming in.
Oh my god, it says, but forcing Sissy. Voice to text is useless. It's supposed to say, but Forrest insists that he has to find Bubba.
I gotta find Bubba!
And so he takes off, and there's an airstrike inbound any moment.
For those of you folks wondering what we mean when we say it's the format, when he posts these notes on patreon.com exclusive, go to patreon.com/GreekGodcast for $3 a month. You'll see his notes, and you'll understand.
Yeah, I'll probably throw a page at the beginning saying, look, I use voice to text to dictate to make it easier. So all the typos are not from me typing. It's from Google not understanding my accent and the way I pronounce things.
Yeah.
And plus, sometimes I talk fast, and that kind of goes into it too.
Yeah.
Because I'm just talking naturally, and I guess I'm just talking too fast for my phone. But anyway, Forrest
Funds.
Yeah, he finds Bubba. He finds Bubba mortally wounded. Forrest grabs him and is running as fast as he can to get them both to safety as the airstrike is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I think I forgot to to write this in the notes, but when he was toting Lieutenant Dan, he talks about how something bit me.
Yeah.
He got shot. He got shot twice,
Yeah,
or at least once. Yeah, something bit him. But as he's running, the airstrike's coming in. There's this huge movie explosion, with Forrest just running. And this is probably like in the same category as the truck. Like, because those explosions were going off pretty close behind Forrest. Like, the force of that airstrike should have thrown both of them. Maybe not kill them, but at least throw them and hurt them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I certainly have never been in an explosion to say what it's like.
I have not.
I mean, again, if you're an armed service member and an explosion that close would knock you over, let us know.
Please let us know. Now, Bubba dying in Forrest's arms is like one of the hardest scenes I've seen in the movie so far. That was really tough.
Yeah.
Like, again, like I love Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that, not just because of how charming he was, but because of what he meant to Forrest.
Yeah.
That was the first true, genuine friend Forrest has ever had. Like, I know Jenny was his friend when they were kids, but
she's not genuine.
She's not genuine. At least she didn't stay genuine. Maybe when they were kids, but when they grew up, no.
Yeah.
Bubba was like his brother. Like, he loved Forrest so much that he offered to, like, go into business with him because he knew, like, they had a bond. And then that was gone because he died because of this stupid war, And,
by the way, and it was a war for absolutely nothing. So you know.
I've never actually, like, there's a lot of stuff in history that I only hear stuff about from other people. I've never really, like, learned why certain wars happen, and Vietnam is one of them.
Yeah.
I think I might want to, like, I've always been interested in the idea of learning about things like Vietnam and World War II, and so I think I might do that.
And I'm sort of the same way. I haven't, like, read exactly, but from what I understand from people that are older than me that have talked about it, they always say the same thing. A bunch of people got killed for nothing.
We're wanting to get local people on the show. I would love for some of those to be vets.
Yeah.
Like, to talk about, their time of service, whether they were in combat or not. That'd be really cool.
So if you're here in the South Arkansas area and you're comfortable and okay with talking about your service time,
please come on the show.
Have you on.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on the show. Absolutely. Okay, so we see Forrest back at the bus stop, and he's finishing his story of Nam with a different passenger, and
it was a bullet, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was sitting on the bus stop with him, and that's what he says. It was a bullet, wasn't it, that bit you? Forrest says, yes, it was a bullet, and Forrest. Oh, I wrote it here. So he goes and he sees the president getting the Medal of Honor, and
they said it was $1 million wound, but the honor was kept that money because I ain't seen down hit it.
Oh, he didn't get the Medal of Honor in that scene, but he did. Yeah, I got mixed up in my notes. Yeah, no, he did get the Medal of Honor with the president. I got mixed up in my notes here. Yeah, but the $1 million wound. They said they must have kept the money because he hasn't seen a penny.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of a humor I appreciate.
Yeah.
He got all the ice cream he wanted for getting shot in the butt, and he offered some to Lieutenant Dan. He didn't want any because he lost
ice cream.
Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan, and he just takes it and he throws it in his bedpan because he doesn't want anything. He lost both his legs at the knee down.
Yeah.
He ain't got no legs.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm just saying. And then I was like, oh, look, I was wrong. Jenny was writing him back the entire time.
Nope.
No, he got a bunch of letters from Jenny.
But they were returned to sender. That was the thing of it. Did you not see that?
No, I thought there was letters from Jenny.
No, it was returned to sender.
It was all what he wrote to her?
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Because remember, she was a dirty whore that was all over the place banging hippies.
Okay. See, I misread. It was such a quick shot. I misread it.
I mean, because they show her name, but it says returned to sender.
Okay. Well, then that changes my notes. I'm going to have to edit that. She's a terrible person still.
She is.
God.
And this is going to translate to a lot of women, so I'm probably going to offend some of you. Stay tuned for the password so you can win your free shirt.
So, Forrest discovers ping pong.
Yeah.
And he's freaking good at it.
And again, how great a movie can be where people are, like, even though it's in the movie itself, that people are invested in ping pong.
Ping pong! Yeah!
I mean...
So, he discovers ping pong, but while he's sleeping one night, he's yanked out of bed by Lieutenant Dan, who is getting in his face, accusing him of robbing him of his destiny, which he was, as he believed, to die in battle like his ancestors before him.
Yeah.
And he's bitter, and he's hurt, and he cannot come to terms with the fact that his life has been changed forever, and that he's forever resigned to a wheelchair due to the loss of his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lieutenant Dan is sent home. Forrest is now that I've got my bearings right, awarded the Medal of Honor, and he goes to meet the president.
Again.
And the president asks where Forrest was hit, and he replies that he was shot in the buttocks.
Right in the buttocks.
And the president says, I think I'd like to see that. And without even blinking, Forrest immediately turns around, bends over, and pulls his pants down, and thus begins the next full-out belly laugh from me in this hilarious scene, and even the president walked away laughing.
Yeah.
Like... That, I mean, that's like the most appropriate reaction.
Yeah.
Like, just like, oh man, I can't even with this guy.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah. So, Forrest is unwittingly put into a protest.
He liked to say the F word a lot.
He just rolls with the punches. He goes, I looked it up. So, I don't have it in my notes, but hold on a second. He goes to speak on the one thing he could think of to say about Vietnam before he's heard through the microphones. Another soldier disrupts the proceedings by unplugging all the wires to the microphones on the stage. And by the time they get the mic plugged in, we never hear what he says. Now, this is still recording while I'm doing that, so I think I took a screenshot of what he said. Let me see... I'm pretty sure I did. I hope I did.
He probably didn't, so we're just wasting time here.
Oh, my screenshot's gone. I thought I took a screenshot of it. I know. But I did look up what he said. And basically, get that back there where it belongs. Basically, what he said was, some people come back from the war to their mamas without any legs.
Yeah.
Some people didn't come back at all. And I think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing it, but that's like 80% accurate to what he said.
Yeah.
And that's really all he said. And then the dude up there it just resonated with him, and he was just like, right on, man.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
And then you see yeah, I say, oh look, there's dirty hippie Jenny again, and she's actually happy to see Forrest. I'm kind of surprised.
Running through the memorial pool. That's probably the first time her cooter's been washed in 6 months.
Jenny! And he just takes off running. He hugs her, and the whole crowd goes crazy over it. They're like, yeah, it's so beautiful.
God,
they don't know.
I want to punch Jenny in the face so bad.
And just like that, Forrest Gump is at a Black Panthers meeting.
Sorry to interrupt your Black Panther party.
Like, he just gets thrown into, like, the most random things, man. Like, Jenny is, like, dating some activist guy who's involved. Yeah, who's involved with the Black Panthers, and Forrest sees him slap Jenny. And then, once again, Forrest, like, throws haymakers because that's what he does to anybody that hurts Jenny.
Which, at this point, she's kind of earned everything she gets.
So, at any rate... And then Jenny, let's see. Jenny does LSD, goes to California, does every hippie thing ever. I guess it shows like I guess I wrote that because it showed Jenny doing hippie stuff as she was talking about what she's been doing while he was in Nam. I think there was a little scene where she talked about that because it showed her doing LSD.
Well, that was after, because.
I wonder why I put that there in my notes then. I'm not sure how that happened.
I don't know, but that was after, because then...
Still a great sentence.
Then she's seen in the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once again, Jenny leaves, and Forrest. She leaves Forrest as expected, but Forrest gives her his Medal of Honor, saying that the only reason he got it was by listening to her. And she asked, "Why is he so good to her?" And we want to know too.
Yeah.
Like, he responded because she's his girl.
You're my girl.
And she said, "I'll always be your girl." And then she leaves with another man to be that man's girl.
Yep.
Because Jenny's
a whore.
Terrible.
She's got that friend zone that women make up.
Again, I don't like Jenny. Forrest plays ping pong for America.
Not much to it.
Forrest meets Lieutenant Dan again, and he's chipper as always.
But before he meets Lieutenant Dan again, he was on the Johnny Carson show with who?
I didn't write that down. It was the Beatles guy, John Lennon.
Yep.
Yeah. So like this was getting like there's 16 pages. I'm on page 11 of the notes, and so like, there was some stuff that I kind of glossed over because I was to the point that I was really like invested in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was trying to take notes, but also enjoy the movie at the same time. So I didn't write anything down about that. But like, he was talking about his time in China, because like when he played ping pong, like that was his role moving forward in the army. He was still active, but he wasn't like in combat, or he wasn't an officer. Like, it was some kind of like special program that they had where like, you know, he played ping pong in other countries.
Yep.
And
ping pong battle.
It created some pretty historic moments. Like he played ping pong in China at this unprecedented match and blah blah blah. And he's on Johnny Carson and he's talking about how, you know, they don't go to church and they don't something or other, and John Lennon's there and he's like, wait, they
don't have religion?
They don't have religion?
Yeah.
Like, he was just kind of blown away listening to him, but totally not understanding what Forrest was actually saying. He was like, no, they don't go to church like, you know, American people go to church.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, so then as he's leaving, he meets Lieutenant Dan again, and he is chipper as always.
Yep.
Probably more chipper than ever with the fact that he's grown his hair out, beard, and, I mean, you know, he's a very disheveled person, and he is an alcoholic.
And now every time I see Lieutenant Dan, like when Forrest first meets him again, all I can think of is that episode of It's Always Sunny, where Charlie and Frank, when Frank first comes to them and he's just divorced his wife, and they go to the club, they realize if you pretend to be hurt, that women will come to you. So Charlie puts on his get up, his fake wig, his bandana, talking about he's a Vietnam vet, all around in a wheelchair. Yeah, you don't remember that one?
I kind of do.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
As anything with Charlie and Frank.
Man, that was such a great show. I used to soft left because it's a little in relation to Lieutenant Dan. It's just like a random thought. I used to have the dog, the best dog I have ever owned. No offense to Buttercup and Motto, but the best.
Is mean.
She's not mean.
She's mean.
She's just misunderstood. She's only mean to Motto. Like, for some reason, she can't stand it when Motto comes in the house. But anyway, best dog I've ever had was a dog I found. He was like half boxer, half pit, but he was a cripple. Like, and he had a little dangly leg. And I took him to... No, that's not what his name was. His name, we called him Herschel, but his full name was Herschel Walker on Count of Them Dogs as Hell, Don't They? Woo! That was his full name. It came from an episode of Squidbillies, because I was really into Squidbillies at the time. But anyway, I'm a grown man. But, like, there's a cross where he's buried where that full name is written on that cross, his little headstone out in the woods.
What's his name? Whole name again?
Herschel Walker on Count of Them Dogs as Hell, Don't They? Woo!
You gotta get that on a tattoo.
I thought about it. He was such a great dog.
For content, Mrs. Dan the Man. You gotta let Dan get that.
He was such a good dog, but he was a crippled dog, and the only reason I didn't have that, so it was like broke, like, and the bones were smoothed over.
Yeah. But
the only reason I didn't have it amputated or fixed is because they said it would cost like thousands of dollars to re-break it, fix it, and he was an older dog, and it just didn't seem like the best thing to do. But it didn't cause him pain, and he could move it a little bit to kind of keep his balance.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, you know, it's not causing him pain, just leave the leg. And, just take care of him. You know, I was like, okay. So he was a little crippled dog with a little floppy dog leg.
Right.
And but like I said at the time, like if you know his name was Herschel Walker, and so I've owned a leg impaired animal, but I've come to the decision after watching this movie that if I ever own another disabled dog again with leg issues, that I'm totally going to name him Lieutenant Dan.
I was wondering where this was going.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
This is a random Dan the Man thought because it's the format. We literally have a shirt you're wearing that says that.
We do.
Yeah.
This is the shirt you'll win, by the way.
Yeah, it's the format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More.
We will be having more shirts up soon.
Yeah, we just gotta get.
We just get, part of it is time. Part of it is just figuring out designs and stuff like that. So just give us a little bit. We're going to be updating the store soon. All right. So that being said, we're actually doing really good for Tom.
Yeah, we're not having
because we're not having to stop for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and hope I get enough signal to upload it.
Yeah. Okay, so he starts sliding down the ramp where he meets him because of the ice and stuff, and then Forrest is like, well, let's hang out, Lieutenant Dan. And so Lieutenant Dan's being pushed back to his apartment or hotel by Forrest, and Lieutenant does the, hey, I'm walking here line, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like, it was
That's
great.
in every movie that's shot in New York City.
But it's better when Lieutenant Dan does it because he's not walking at all.
Well, that's the joke of it.
I know.
You get it?
Yeah, I got it. Forrest stays with Lieutenant Dan over the holidays, and Lieutenant Dan and Forrest are down at a bar celebrating, and Forrest begins to explain that he's going to honor his promise to Bubba about the shrimp boat business, and Lieutenant goes to say, the day you become a shrimp boat captain is the day that I'll be your first mate on that boat.
Yeah.
And then some hookers show up.
Yep, some
damn
dirty hookers.
And apparently Jenny kills a guy for New Year's.
Well, she didn't kill him.
It looked like she killed him. I thought she killed him.
They were both shooting hard H, and he OD'd, and she was going to kill herself because that's when they throw in Freebird, and she stands up on that balcony, and then she gets down like we're supposed to feel sorry for her. I was kind of hoping she'd jump.
I think that's a little bit later. Because it shows her in messed up scenes like that a few times in this part of the movie.
I think this is where she was going to kill herself.
We'll see in the notes.
Okay.
I may have wrote it down. But you're right, that does happen. But I really thought she killed a dude for hitting her because she gets hit a lot. But anyway, Forrest... okay, all right, so Lieutenant Dan is not a fan of New Year's, and Forrest doesn't like hookers. Right. And Lieutenant Dan doesn't like people calling Forrest stupid.
Why doesn't Forrest like hookers?
Because they taste like cigarettes.
She tasted like cigarettes.
The way he says cigarettes is like the best.
Yeah.
So Forrest finally gets discharged. And he gets an honorable discharge. He's done his time. He's done service to his country, and then he did a lot of cool stuff. And then now he can go home. So he goes home to his mama, and he gets a check for $25,000 in endorsement money for a ping pong paddle that he genuinely doesn't like. It's a white lie.
Yeah.
Mama says white lie ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Mama said a little white lie never hurt nobody.
Yeah. So, because he likes his little worn out paddle. That's what he used the whole time. But this little fancy paddle got him a check for $25,000. And he uses that money to honor his promise to Bubba to buy the shrimp boat. And he names the shrimp boat Jenny.
Well, he didn't do it immediately.
But it came to it.
Because a couple times he caught like a toilet seat, old helmet.
Yeah, he didn't have no luck.
Then some guy said, it's bad luck not to have a boat, not to have a name for your boat.
And so he names it the only name that he could think of.
The most beautiful name in the whole wide world.
Yeah. And so
Jenny.
Jenny still being Jenny, but this time Jenny is on cocaine. Jenny is banging drugs intravenously as well. Also Freebird. Jenny is dumb. This is the, like...
I love that. Jenny's using drugs intravenously. She's dumb. Freebird.
Yeah. So I'll read it again. I'll read it one more time. Sometimes I do good things. Jenny still being Jenny, but this time Jenny on cocaine. Jenny also banging drugs intravenously as well. Also Freebird. Jenny is dumb.
Yeah.
However, this is the one of the few times that I say something without just outright being derogatory towards the character of Jenny. Okay. Because while I have a lot to say about Jenny and her decisions, okay, I will say Jenny is the absolute product of growing up in an abusive home. And while I disagree with a lot of, if not all, of her choices, and don't think very highly of her as a person. It's not that I don't have any sympathy for her. She does need help.
Yeah.
But I will say, without getting into too much of my own personal life, because there's just some things you don't talk about on the internet. I know people close to me who are in their own way a Jenny, and they're a product of bad circumstances, but in the end, they have a choice.
Yeah, at some point you have to grow up.
You have to grow up. You have to make a choice, and Jenny just.
She refuses to grow up.
She doesn't do it. She just keeps running away from everything instead of facing her problems.
She's a coward.
So, but I wrote that note to say I do understand where Jenny is coming from to an extent, but then there's a point when you go, okay, you're out of excuses.
Yeah.
And Jenny's been at this point she's been.
Can we clarify something real quick? Because I know some idiot's gonna say something about it.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the actress. We're talking about the character.
We're talking about characters, fictional characters.
Because remember, there's idiots in this world.
No.
People who get offended when I say allegedly.
Who played Jenny? Was it Robin Wright? I think.
Yeah, Robin Wright. Pen.
Yeah, no, she's.
Or did she drop the pen now? She was married to Sean Penn.
Oh, I don't know about all that. But anyway, I had to take my hat off. It's not hot, but it's not cool either.
Yeah,
so
we're trying not to run the air so we don't have to hear it.
Sake. So, but anyway,
you're at the start.
Yeah, no. As Forrest is pulling up to the to the dock, you see Lieutenant Dan sitting there on the dock. Sitting on the dock waiting for Forrest, and I haven't even finished the scene yet, and I had to stop to make this note that I had a big grin on my face remembering what Lieutenant Dan said about being Forrest's first mate, and it's just this kind of stuff, you see it coming a mile away, but as soon as Forrest buys a boat, you're like, well, Lieutenant Dan will be coming back again. Yeah. But it's little things like this that just made me really enjoy the movie.
Here, trout and sea legs.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
I know that. So, apparently Forrest's boat can park itself.
Oh my God, where he jumps off the boat and the boat just rams the... Well, that's the boat.
It can park itself. Yes, Lieutenant Dan is on... hold on.
Lieutenant Dan is on the boat. Do I need to read your own text to speak for you?
Okay, no, hold on. Yeah, apparently Forrest, his boat can park itself. Sorry.
What is this note?
Hold on.
What the hell?
Hold on.
Folks, we're not privy to each other's notes before this, and I just saw one that when we get to it, it's going to blow your mind.
So they start chirping together, and Lieutenant Dan's on the boat, and he's helping out with Forrest, with the shrimping by going by his feelings. Forrest goes to church, and he's in a choir, and he's praying for shrimp, and then God enters the chat room.
I mean, what the hell? Where does that enter the? God enters the chat room.
Well, it's like a thing you see in memes, where it's like. Yeah, you say something, and then all of a sudden the thing you're talking about shows up. It's like so-and-so has entered the chat room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
have you found God, Gump? I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for him.
I love that part. I love that. So, when I say God enters the chat room, it's the scene.
That's the scene. That's the note I was talking about.
It's the scene where the hurricane hits and destroys everything.
But Lieutenant Dan's still up on the top.
He is yelling at God.
What do they call that?
It's the mast.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crow's
nest. Is that all you got?
Yeah. And he is just fighting God, and they survive the hurricane and become the only boat left in the area, and they dominate the shrimping industry, and now Forrest is a millionaire. Yeah. And then finally, in his own way, Lieutenant Dan finally thanks Forrest for saving his life in Vietnam. He's finally, coming to terms with his life, and is finding peace, forgiving himself, and thanking Forrest, and like just finally able to move on from that dark moment in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I say here? Okay, I love how when anything serious happens, Forrest just dives right into it, literally.
Yeah.
I remember, because they're doing so well. They have multiple Jenny boats, and Forrest and Lieutenant Dan are on Jenny 1, and they get a call, and it's about Forrest's mom, and like he literally just dives into the water and runs home.
Yeah,
like
he swims to shore and then runs home.
Yeah, literally. Like, I don't think he ever has a car.
Mm-mm.
I think he just
and
drives a lawnmower and runs on his 2 feet.
And a fun fact, true story, this prepared Forrest for having to survive on an island in Castaway.
Mm-hmm.
It really happened.
Yeah.
That's what,
and all the narrating he did was to prepare him for being best friends with a volleyball.
Yeah.
So, Forrest's mom's dying.
Yep.
And after Forrest talks about the death of his mom, the old lady who's currently sitting with him on the bench at the bus says that she'll wait for the next number 7 bus, and she wants to listen to Forrest.
Yeah.
Forrest he's just making a ton of money in shrimping.
They invested us in some sort of fruit company. They said we didn't have to worry about money no more.
Yeah,
I said that's good.
Yeah,
one less thing.
Yeah, that's the note. Like Forrest
is so sad.
He gets an offer from the which this is such a weird offer. Like
from
he's
Apple.
No, from the university. Like he gets an offer from the university. He's the CEO of Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Yeah,
and he gets an offer to cut their grass.
Well,
and I never really understood that. But anyway,
well, it wasn't the university. It was his high school, his local high school.
Was it the high? I thought it was the university he went to.
No, it was the high school when he just figured since he don't have anything else to do and he's already a gazillionaire.
Yeah, well, he went to cut
mow the yard.
Yeah, when he went to cut grass, they were paying him though. Like he went to go do it, and Lieutenant Dan managed everything for him.
I cut that grass for free.
Yeah, he managed. Yeah. He invested in Apple for Forrest, and then told him he never had to worry about money ever again.
In case you didn't get it, when they said they invested us in some sort of fruit company, it was Apple.
Yeah,
not obvious. I mean, y'all know Apple.
Yeah, y'all know Apple. You're probably watching this on an iPhone right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, he cuts the grass for free, just because he likes cutting grass.
With the old snapper lawnmower.
Man, my grandpa used to have one of those mowers. Like
I've seen a lot of old timers have them, and they still run.
I wish I had one.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
I'd run that thing today. But okay, so Forrest gives
Forrest.
He doesn't give all of his fortune away, but he gives a lot of it away. Like he gave
Bubba's family his half.
Yeah. I say he gives it all away to all the right things, cuts grass for free. And then one of the people was in Bubba's family.
Yep.
Like
that was his mama.
Yeah, he gave his mama what Bubba would have made if Bubba hadn't died.
Yeah. She didn't have to work in nobody's kitchen no more.
Yeah. Bubba had talked about how his mama, his grandmama always, they knew every shrimp recipe because they always served people. And, his mama had a job, serving people food. Well, now she was the one being served.
Yeah.
Because she was set. Like, Forrest hooked her up. Oh, look, it's Jenny. Never mind, Forrest is hallucinating. He really misses Jenny.
Yep.
He really loves cutting grass on a riding mower. Oh, okay, Jenny's back now. I kind of wish I had a mower like Forrest has. I wrote that down.
Yeah, hey.
So, like I said, Jenny is back. She sleeps a really long time. And when she's awake, Forrest is talking her head off because he's just so happy that she's back. So they walk up to Jenny's old house, and she sees the house that she grew up in, and her abusive father, and it looks. I don't know why it says it looks like her mom just flooded with. No, I think it just got mixed up with the voice of text. With her abusive father. And it looks like she was just flooded with horrible memories again. And I'm not really fond of Jenny as a person, but because of all the selfish decisions that she made. But as I said earlier, I do acknowledge the fact that she is someone that's been hurt. Hurt people, when they don't deal with their hurt, they tend to make self-destructive minded decisions. And I think that's what the case is with Jenny. And you really see that as she breaks down after throwing all the rocks and her shoes at the house that she was abused in. And then for the first time, even though Forrest has always been a happy person, you see Forrest really truly being happy with the love of his life.
Yep.
Forrest asked Jenny to marry him one night after Jenny turns off the TV and is getting ready to go to bed. And Forrest asked Jenny to marry him, and Jenny goes back to being Jenny.
Yeah. And this is where Forrest, like, he said, I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is. Yeah. He was really, with his tone and the look, he was really saying, like, F you.
Yeah.
F you. I've done everything for you, and all you've done is been a little bitch. F you.
Forrest. So Forrest gets mad, he goes to his room.
Yep.
And then Jenny comes in there. And all I wrote for that is, Forrest finally getting his time to shine, old son.
Old son.
Old son. So, then Jenny leaves. While Forrest is asleep. And she did leave the Medal of Honor, though, this time.
The Met Medal?
Yeah, the Met Medal. It's voice to text, man. I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
Oh.
I'm going to keep doing this, but I guess I'm just going to have to really take my time to enunciate.
No, don't. Just do it the way you've done it.
Forrest,
this is amazing.
Forrest is really sad now. I can't imagine what Forrest is actually feeling right now, despite everything seemingly being against him since the day he was born. Hold on. Go to the next page. With his mental disabilities, for lack of a better term, I still don't really feel like Forrest is disabled, but the fact that the world thinks he is, like I said, Forrest just runs on a different gear, and people see that as a flaw and nothing else. But despite that, he's achieved so much in his life and only wanted one thing, and that's the one woman that he's ever truly loved. And despite all his accomplishments, she left, and I can't even begin to imagine how belittling that feels.
Dirty whore.
Then Forrest runs across America.
Yeah, just because he wanted to.
Just felt like running.
Yeah. And this is where the smiley face T-shirt was designed.
Yeah.
This is where the shit happens sticker was made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a whole following of people that think
he's you just stepped in shit. It happens. What, shit? Sometimes.
And then all of a sudden, you see that bumper sticker on a vehicle that gets T-boned.
Yeah.
But after 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and so many hours, I forget, of running, Forrest goes home, and then he gets a letter from Jenny asking him to come see her, and now
Savannah, I think it was.
Yeah, now we're caught up to while Forrest is sitting on the bench telling his life story to random people.
Yeah.
And it's Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
That's Forrest Gump Jr.
He's got a daddy named Forrest too.
Yeah, that was that was another moment where it wasn't tense like the Nom scene, but it was like really brief. It was just kind of like on the edge of your seat. Like, is she really about to tell him that's his kid?
Yeah.
And no.
And that spot where he was like, is he smart or is he?
Yeah, he was like
that's kind of like something as a parent you're like, because every parent. I want my kid to be smarter than me. I want my kid to be
better.
Yeah.
To be better than me.
And then you look at it from Forrest's perspective of someone who is slower.
Yeah.
And he's worried that
he's going to have the same struggles.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's incredibly smart. He's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
You know, he has no issues. This is where I go on a bit of a rant right here. I just say, God, Jenny is such a terrible person. She had Forrest's kid, and he's like 3 years old, and he never knew. And sure, he did run for 3 years too, but I mean, she kept up with him.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she could have found some way to get in touch with him to let him know, oh, hey, you're a dad.
And first off, she was the reason he ran anyway.
Yes. Like, he ran to deal with his mom dying and Jenny always leaving him and the life that he's had, Bubba dying. Like, he had to process it somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. Like, he ran. He just ran and thought about everything and processed. And then when he was done, man, he was done. And it took him, like, a little over 3 years to do it.
Guess I'll go home now.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what are we supposed to do now? Why did you follow him?
Yeah.
Like,
keep
that's
running.
not his fault.
Run home.
Yeah.
Run home.
Jenny has HIV.
Because she's a whore.
She never said that. They never explicitly said it's HIV, but, like, it's HIV. Like, because it's they made it out like she was the first one to have it. Yeah. Or one of the first, because she's like, they don't know what it is, they don't know how to treat it.
Do you reckon when she was out in LA banging random dudes, she banged Magic Johnson? Jenny gave Magic Johnson AIDS.
I don't think the timing matches up there.
It does. It's a true story. Look it up.
Okay. Well, it worked out for Magic Johnson in the end because he beat AIDS. With his basketball money.
He did.
That happened in an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
And everything that happens in South Park is true.
100%.
100%. So
I love that show.
Now, Jenny wants to get married. Now she wants to do the right. After she's gonna die. After she's left Forrest like 100 times and drove the man to running across America. Yep. Now she wants to get married. Lieutenant Dan is there and he's got new legs.
Yep. Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs.
Titanium, just like the space shuttle.
Yeah.
And he meets his fiancée Susan, and he meets Jenny, and then they have the wedding and stuff like that. But one thing I really appreciate about the scene of them getting married is as the wedding is taking place, I noticed that Lieutenant Dan is the only one standing. And I thought that was a really nice touch to the scene because, like, he can finally stand.
He's been sitting so long.
He's going to stand there through the whole thing and not complain about it. Like he appreciates the fact that he has legs now. Yeah. And he's not going to take it for granted. So, Jenny died. Forrest cried. And I might have to.
Oh, if you didn't at least tear up in this scene.
As much as I didn't like Jenny, that scene
where he is talking to her grave and talking about Forrest, talking about little Forrest, how he's so smart.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you don't tear up, or at least feel like you're going to tear up.
Yeah, like you have zero soul.
You don't have a soul. At the end of the movie, Forrest is sitting at the bus stop with little Forrest, and he sees the Curious George book in little Forrest's backpack. And when he opens it to look at it, the feather from the beginning of the movie falls out, and the movie ends with the feather fluffing away. Yeah. And that's the end of my notes. And before Tyler gets in on the Jenny rant that I will probably help him with, I want to give my overall thoughts of the movie. This is hands down probably one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
I'm going to spit back before.
And I watched it as a kid, and I mentioned Empire also being in my top 5, right? Well, I watched the original trilogy as a kid, and if you remember in the Jedi review, that was why I liked Jedi. I liked Jedi more than Tyler because I watched it as a kid. Like, you know, it had like this impact of nostalgia or whatever, and you know, but in the end, like, you know, Star Wars is like a sci-fi action thing, and so like it hits kids different than a movie like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
So I watched Forrest Gump growing up, like I watched Star Wars, and like Star Wars impacted me as a child for completely different reasons. And Forrest Gump, like as a kid, I was like, well, this is a good movie, but I was a kid and it didn't really like interest me like it did my dad, who loved the movie.
The funny parts.
The funny parts, you know, and the more memorable, easy to remember stuff, you know. But like in the end, you're a kid and it's kind of hard to pay attention to a movie like that. So like as an adult, watching it again with fresh eyes and really understanding what I'm watching and even able to relate it to things like that I've seen in my own life.
Yeah.
It is such a great movie. It is.
I mean,
it's one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody could have pulled off the role of Forrest Gump like Tom Hanks.
I've been trying to think.
He's a once in a lifetime actor.
I've been trying to think of somebody that maybe could have done it.
I don't get me wrong. I think Forrest Gump could have been casted by anybody, but in the end, it wouldn't have been as good. I wouldn't give Forrest Gump a 10 if it was cast by somebody else.
Yeah.
They'd easily get like a 6.5 or a 7.
You gotta think, what lessons do we have? Just because someone is slower doesn't mean they're different or stupid.
Yeah, it just means they're just running on different gear, man.
Color of skin and blood don't matter. Family is a bond.
Yeah, that's right. Life's just gonna throw things at you different ways, man, and how you react is like, how it affects you.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's.
Forrest just went right along with everything, man.
He did.
And
he saw
the best in people.
He did. And if you're older, now that if you're an adult and you haven't seen this movie in a while, take some time and watch this movie and actually pay attention to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's a comedy movie, and there are funny moments. There are times it's unintentionally funny.
I don't think it's a comedy movie. I don't consider it a comedy movie at all.
Well, I mean, there's comedy in it.
I consider it more of like just a work of art, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's a classic.
Not what I'm saying. There's comedy in it, but that's what a lot of people remember and quote.
It's the funny stuff.
Yeah, but there are, if you're an adult now and you haven't watched it in a while, watch it and pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Because there's actually quite a bit that can be learned from it.
Oh, yeah.
Like this. Men. I'm going to say men. Women have a control over us. For some reason, they do. If you want a woman and she runs off time after time after time and you're still trying to be good to her, fine. But she keeps running off. And she goes off with another man in front of you.
After saying she's your girl.
Leave that bitch alone.
Stop. Just go away.
And here's another thing. And it's been a Facebook meme, but it's true. She didn't want him. She didn't want him. She didn't want him. All of a sudden, he becomes a millionaire. Guess who's back? Jenny was a gold-digging whore.
And it wasn't until after she contracted AIDS and had his kid.
Yeah.
That suddenly she realized that Forrest was the best thing to ever happen to her. And it wasn't about money. It was like she just finally had a realization.
Yeah.
That what she should have figured out, what was right in front of her the whole time, man.
Yeah. And again, she is a product of her raising.
Yeah.
But it goes back to, at some point, you've got to stop making excuses and grow up.
Like, there's a time for everything. And yeah, even excuses, but that doesn't last very long.
No.
And you run out of excuses, and then you can't keep running from your problems. You have to face them.
Right.
And she never did, man.
She never did.
And it's sad. Because, I mean, there's a lot of Jennies in the world.
There are.
And it doesn't have to be.
There's Jenny. We'll call them Jennies and Joes.
Jennies and Joes.
Yeah. Because it's obviously not just a woman problem.
We're not
experience of the movie.
We're just talking on the perspective of the movie. We're in no way saying that it's only women that do this.
Yeah,
there's men too.
I do want to say though. that friend zone that Jenny had, y'all made that shit up. Shut up.
Yeah, that friend zone thing needs to go away, and y'all just need to be honest about it. Yeah. And again,
y'all
guys do it too,
but not to the degree women do.
Like. Just have an uncomfortable, honest conversation. You'll both be better for it.
Yeah.
Good God. Save some heartache, people.
Yeah. So, what I like to do with these kind of movies is if there was a sequel made, where would you go with it?
Man, I would want Tom Hanks to be in it, but I mean, it would be hard to make it about just Forrest, since he has little Forrest.
Yeah.
I would like to see like a movie where Forrest is talking about little Forrest growing up. Like you, instead of Forrest telling just his story,
He's telling a little Forrest story.
And also little Forrest is giving his side of it too.
Yeah.
Like there's two stories going on, and they fill each other's gaps of puzzle pieces, you know, to build the whole story together.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it could easily be done. Like they're the right ages for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they can't do it.
No,
they can't do it because they'll try too hard, and it
won't be as good.
But that's something I like to do. Like I think about it all the time. I wish there was a Sling Blade sequel because you could do it.
I would rather someone did that in a novel, and I would happily read that book.
Yeah.
Than try to see it in a movie, because you can do things more and better in a book than you can film. Yeah. And so if someone like did a proper sequel in just book form, I would be okay with it, with an audible narration by Tom Hanks.
Or maybe
and Haley Joel Osment.
How about this? And this is just off the cuff here. You have little Forrest telling the story.
Yeah.
He was a soldier at the war. Let's see. Haley Joel Osment would have been at the age for war when the war in Iraq started. Maybe a little earlier.
He'd have been close.
So
no, because I'm thinking of time it was released versus time that the movie takes place. So yeah, he probably would have been old enough to be involved in that.
He's telling the story, and his dad is also involved in how Big Forrest handled everything, and
like what he did at home while little Forrest was overseas.
Yeah.
And yeah,
and then when little Forrest comes home and they interact, and he's having PTSD, you could address that issue.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, that would be really cool.
Are we writing a movie?
I think we are.
We're already in the well, we need to start back.
Yeah, we need to get back into
it. For those of you, when we do the Fast and Furious, at the very end of it, after we do all the real movies, we started the process of writing our own Fast and Furious movie. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's completely ridiculous.
Fast and Furious 11.
Yeah, we'll save the details for that.
There's a lot of family.
Family.
So anyway.
You see a space guardrail, I'll give you that.
Jesus.
I thought that for Miss Dan the Man.
Hashtag always too soon. So anyway.
What, do I need to make jokes about Lincoln? Do I need to make jokes about Abraham Lincoln? Or is it too soon for that? It's only been 200 and something years.
No.
I think. Has it been 200 years? I don't know. Whatever.
It's been a while.
Hard left turn. So, yeah. Maybe that would be a sequel.
Yeah.
If you think you could come up with a quick idea for a Forrest Gump 2, hypothetically, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Email us.
Yeah. If you're on Patreon, message us. If not, then email us at greekgodcast@gmail.com.
You can type it out, or you can send a video.
Yeah. Speaking of video, one more shameless plug before we wrap up. Intros. Fans of the Greek Godcast, we want you to be a part of our show.
Yep.
And if you just want to do just the smallest way possible, shoot a selfie video of yourself saying, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, and you are listening to the Greek Godcast," and we'll put your intro at the beginning of one of our episodes that we upload to YouTube.
Yep.
So
you can use the goofy filters, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to. You don't have to use your real name. You can put whatever name you want to. I mean, also, if you sign up to Patreon, $3 a month. Yeah.
You can't see the names. We got to figure out.
We're gonna lower the banner.
Yeah. You can use whatever name you want. We'll put you up on the banner. Give you your own shout out video. If you wonder what it's like, look on YouTube. We got it.
Yep.
If you're wondering why Dan hasn't been in any of the shout out videos, because
I don't live here.
We record at my house, and the banner is here in my shed.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, what'll happen is we'll get a Patreon after a video uploads, and it's usually kind of late at night. So.
And you're really excited. You're like, ah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, which is cool.
I try to do it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like when your Mrs. Dan the Man done it, I was already asleep. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty late at night when Mrs. Dan the Man.
And when I came out here, it was literally the second thing I'd done after I woke up. I woke up, I brushed my teeth, and I came out here.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you could tell in the video.
Yeah, you look like you just woke up.
I did.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up?
Again, in this video, which will be tomorrow, it'll upload tomorrow, we will let you know across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. There will be a password at some point in this video.
Yeah. Secret password.
Yeah.
For like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it'll be up there for... Let's put it up there for 8 seconds.
8 seconds?
We'll put it up for 8 seconds.
All right.
When you see the password, subscribe. Take a screenshot of you being subscribed. Send us an email at greekgodcast@gmail.com. Send us your name, a picture of the screenshot that you're subscribed, and the password.
Yep.
We will let the video stay up for 1 week. We will post every day, hey, don't forget this. And after 1 week, we will write the names down and put them in pieces of paper, put it in a hat, and we will draw a hat.
We will draw a hat.
He will draw a hat. I'll draw a name out of the hat. And you'll win a free t-shirt.
Yes. So.
Next week, Samurai Cop.
Samurai Cop.
I'm so excited.
We're not going to say his name, but we're trying to talk a buddy of ours to come on the show. And I hope he does. But if not, it will at least be us.
Yes, and we're not even doing notes on this. Because
nah, we're just going to go.
If you haven't seen this movie, please, by the time we do a review, we'll let you guys know when we're doing it.
It's the best.
It's free on Amazon Amazon Prime, Amazon
Prime. Yeah, if you have a Prime membership, you can watch it.
Don't have your kids in there.
No.
It's because there is some stuff that they don't need to see.
Yeah, but golly,
we watched it because we've seen other people do it, and it's one of those movies. It's so horribly bad. It is hilarious.
Yeah, there were some parts that we were literally like, we have to fast forward. This is bad.
It is. We fast forwarded through like 2 things.
Yeah,
because it was uncomfortable.
It really was, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
But that's next week.
Yeah.
So that being said, we're gonna wrap up the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the show, supporting the channel, supporting our Patreon, supporting everything that we have. We love you. We couldn't do this without you guys, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.